So. So my name is Emily Downward, and usually people say, seriously? Like if you're gonna make up a name, wouldn't you make up something better than Downward? Or people say, oh, like Emily Upward. Like I haven't heard that a dozen times. Or they'll say, oh, like Downward Dog. Like, are you calling me like a backwards bitch? So it's a direction, and it's not a positive one, but you know, my dad was in the airlines, so it was a great name for that. But mine's even better. I'm a life coach. Like, everybody wants to go to a life coach named Downward, right? So I try to come up with some slogans, like maybe it's like inward and outward with downward, or onward and upward with downward. And it's memorable, so there's that. And with a name like Downward, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So I grew up one of 3 girls, and I think all 3 of us were kind of looking forward to getting married and getting a normal name. And my sisters did pretty well. One's a Walker, and one's a Martin. No, you don't have to spell those names, right? And it's just like, yeah. And I had a little starter marriage and got a pretty good name for a while. His name was Moore. Great, everybody knows how to spell that. And one of my feminist girlfriends said, are you going to hyphenate? Like Downward Moore? No. So I've been single for most of my life, and my sisters and my friends that are married think, oh, it must be so great. You have so much time and flexibility and so much fun. But you know, the dating scene is really pretty hard sometimes, and I've done all of it. I've done online dating, I've done offline dating, I've done matchmaking services, I've done speed dating, I've done everything. So I've got some good stories for you guys, because the worst dates make the best stories. So there was one guy, we introduced ourselves, and like really shortly after introduced, and I don't think he even knew the downward part, he only knew my first name. And he said, so you want to go get naked? Somehow, I mean, I kind of admire his forthrightness, but I'm thinking this guy doesn't know foreplay, you know? I mean, I'll just like really put it out there. And one guy seemed pretty promising. We dated for like 3 or 4 months, and then I met his wife. That's when my friends were like, your life is like a soap opera. I was like, it's my life! And then isn't it sweet when somebody says that they love you? You know that moment when they're like, the first ones to say it, and you're like, oh, good. But when it's on the first date, run. So I did do speed dating once, and I think the only thing you have in common with people in speed dating, if they tell the truth, is an age range. It was the weirdest group of people. And at the end of the night, I got stuck with the creepiest guy, my last guy. By this time, the guy who was ringing the bell was tired of timing, so he was engrossed in a conversation with the bartender, and I'm sitting here with this dude for extra minutes. I'm like, ring the bell. He says, so have you been married before? Yes. You have kids? No. Can you have kids? It's like, well, you know, it's like you don't know until you try, right? You should practice a lot. I'm like, still no bell. So he starts saying, you know what? I am a world class, and he's speaking so slowly, my brain is filling in the blanks. Like, chess champion? Diver? Like, what is he going to say? He says, I'm a world-class snuggler and spooner. I'm the best at spooning. You're a world-class asshole. Ring the bell. So the best date, though, is one I've had here in Seattle. I've only been here about 1.5 years, and a good friend of mine suggested she would set me up on a blind date. And I was like, yeah, God, I've done blind dates before. They haven't turned out so well, but I was like, you know, Emily, you don't know many people here. You should try this. So I agreed. And he invited me out on a group hike. We were going to hike up this mountain. I asked him if it was easy. He said yes, it was not. We hiked up for about 1.5 hours, and then we were meeting up with his roommate and some friends up at the top. So, you know, I started off, I had showered that morning and I looked all cute. By the time I got to the top, I was like sweaty and disgusting and I just wanted to sit down. But we met up with his friends. They were sitting in a circle on these logs, and God, I finally got to sit down, and we were just introducing ourselves to the people around us, and a guy on the other side of the circle says, "Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous to order." First date. And the guy turns to me, and he is one of those people that doesn't know how to whisper. "Oh my God, I don't know anything about alcoholics." And everybody can hear. "Do you want to go?" I was like, "I just want to sit." Like, I hiked for an hour and a half, and I'm a life coach. I like people. I like people who are like trying to improve themselves. I kind of respect people who are doing this. So I'm like, I'm fine. Let's just sit. So, they do the little, I don't know if you've ever been to one, but they read the list of things that they talk about, blah, blah, blah. And then people start standing up and sharing. So one girl gets up, and she just was sober like a few weeks or maybe a month. And another guy gets up, and he shares, and he's been sober like a couple decades. And it was, again, I'm just enjoying the experience, enjoying sitting. And guess who stands up? My date. And he says, "I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm recovering from a divorce. And I just, and he's so choked up he can't talk, and I'm thinking, please don't introduce me. Please don't say we're on a date." So he squeaks out, they just wanted to thank his roommate. And I'm like, oh my God. So he sits back down and he goes, "Sue, do you want to leave now?" "You just interrupted these people's meeting for your stuff." And oh God. So we still had to hike down. So I'm trying to be polite because I still have another hour down with him. And he proceeds to make fun of my profession and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh my God, I just can't get this date over. We get down to the bottom though, and he says, "So I've got some great ideas for our second date." Like, how can you top an AA meeting? Like, that's really awesome. So anyway, if anybody knows anyone who is not married, who knows what foreplay is, who likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, and who doesn't take me to an AA meeting, come find me.